Good. You guys got the shades down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little darker in here?
We
finally figured it out.
Yeah, you figured out how to do it.
I think it was some unauthorized tinkering with the.
Yeah. I don't know what all these buttons do. I'll let somebody else handle that most of the time. Don't break anything.
Hey, Steelers kind of weird. Not only are they having trouble running the ball, they're having a little bit of trouble stopping the run. And I know you don't necessarily want to reveal what you're going to do, but is it just the fact that they might have been going against some pretty good running backs so far this season, like Nick Chubb?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like anything. It's a case-by-case basis. I do think this is a good run defense. Obviously, they've been giving up some runs here and there to certain teams, but a lot of times they're in tight games, things like that. People are continuing to stick to the run. Every possession's so valuable right there, as opposed to, building a lead and teams are having to throw the ball to get back in it. So I think that's a little bit of it, but we view this as really a good front seven that does a good job pressuring the quarterback as well as stopping the run at certain times. So however the game tends to lean within the game is how we'll play it.
Does TJ have a chance to be as good as his brother, or is he almost there now?
I can't tell you that I've watched TJ's brother very often. I haven't had a chance to watch many Florida games or anything like that, but from what I hear, they're both pretty good. Wrong TJ. TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
That makes a lot more sense now. Makes a lot of sense. TJ Watt. Yeah, I think they're different, though. TJ's a little bit smaller, plays more on the edge, where JJ kind of floated around and played there in the inside a little bit. He's a bigger body, so I think they play differently. He's got a lot of pass rush moves similar to his brother and things like that, but with a different skill set, a different body type, the way he does it. So comparing players is always hard to do, just because they're different positions and they play the game a little differently. But they're both certainly somebody you have to be aware of, regardless of where they line.
This particular Watt's good enough, right?
Yes, he is certainly good enough. Yes.
What have you seen Anton Harrison progression-wise? Is this kind of what you expected? Kind of threw him in there, and he's like Chris Jones week 2.
Right.
Has he gotten better?
I believe so. Yeah, and that's part of it. I mean, we talked about it back then. You're a rookie offensive lineman. You're going to face great players every single week, and certainly this week we have our hands full with T.J. Watt and also Highsmith on the other side, and they can switch sides. They're certainly free to do whatever they want to do there, but I think you've seen him grow every single week with different things, different situations, whether it be a variety of pass rushers with different skill sets as they play, or just the way we want to combo block certain things, all the different variety of fronts you can get presented. So that's the growth that our offense takes. Everybody on our offense takes week to week as we go, but young players, you see a lot of growth with them week to week as they go.
Do we not pay enough attention to the mental load that those guys, rookie offensive tackles, have to deal with in addition to the physical stuff and adjusting to those?
Yeah, I think that's the fun and the challenge of the NFL is week to week, it's a new plan of attack. How we beat a team in a certain week is not how we're going to be able to play a game in the next week. And then within the game, your plan of attack changes based on the dynamics of the game. So quarter to quarter, it's kind of a different game within. And then the fourth quarter, it's whatever it takes to go win. So I think for young guys, it's just that process of every single week come in, learn the plan, learn my opponent. It could be completely different than what you did a week before. So that's the challenge of it. And then the length of the season is obviously new to all these guys. Their buddies are about to be done in 4 weeks, and we're going to be hitting the bye week trying to refresh for the next 10 weeks or whatever it is.
How has the attention that Calvin Ridley's been getting from defenses maybe helped to open up the rest of the offense?
Yeah, I think people pay respect to obviously great players. Calvin's a great player. He's gotten certain looks where teams are going to maybe more willing to play a shell, more willing to cloud to his side one way or the other, more willing to bracket to his side. But again, that's a case-by-case type deal. But, we're the type of team where we feel like we have the ability to spread the ball around. We have a lot of really good players, a lot of really good skill players that based on whatever matchups you're presenting to us, we feel like we have answers within concepts or within just a scheme to get to somebody else, right? And Trevor, I think, does a great job of going through progressions and finding the open man based on whatever we're calling as it goes.
When a team is inverting coverage or bracketing over Calvin, is the philosophy just take what they give us, or do you feel like we need to figure out a way to get him the ball?
I think we certainly need to figure out ways to get him the ball. I mean, that's a big part of it. I mean, Calvin is a great player and deserves touches and changes the game when he gets touches. But at the same time, you're taking something away to give something up. So we want to do the right thing and just go where we're supposed to go with the football based on whatever they're allowing us. And maybe it's you're getting into shell looks, there's a lighter box, we have the ability to run the ball, you're getting into bracket looks, and somebody else has a good man matchup, and we can work that way. But there's certain things that we want to be able to do to allow Calvin to have an impact with the ball in his hand. He impacts the game the second he steps on the field. So whether we're getting him the ball or not, defenses are certainly aware. You see defenses have certain plans for him in different situations, but he's somebody that we feel needs the ball.
It seems like NFL offenses around the league are a little bit down this year in terms of big plays, maybe passing yards, scoring, points, just things like that. What do you sort of make of that? And is it maybe a signal of the defenses changing around the league the past couple of years?
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of that. I would imagine the explosive play rate is probably down overall. I think part of it is the defensive lines are so good in this league right now. Defensive linemen. There's always a matchup on every single game where you're just terrified of a certain guy, and you got to either commit resources to that person, or we're going to beat the pass rush with getting the ball out of our hands. So the ball's coming out quick. Well, now the ball coming out quick, we're maybe less likely to create explosives because we're not throwing the ball down the field. So my guess would be the average, the ADOT, whatever, the average distance target's probably down. Time to throw is probably also lower just because people are getting the ball out. So there's different ways you approach it based on who you're playing and what the matchups are. And again, that's kind of what your plan of attack is to win that week. But just big picture, it's probably somewhere along those lines.
Right. Trevor's time to throw, I think, was like 2.2 seconds last week. I know part of that might have been to do with his knee. Moving forward, do you expect it to be similar just because of the knee, because of how the offenses around the league are, the defensive lines, Steelers coming up, things like that?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's going to be similar throughout the season?
Again, it's a case-by-case deal. If that's what we feel like gives us the best opportunity to go win a game, we'll play that way. And I think that's also something Trevor's really good at. For a big, long guy, he gets the ball out of his hand very quickly. So that's something we try to take advantage of. We can get his hands out of his hands to playmakers, which, again, we mentioned we have a lot of skill players that can do a lot with the football. So sometimes it's to our benefit to get him the ball as quick as possible. Sometimes we want to hold the ball and push the ball down the field. I mean, it's kind of there's an ebb and a flow within a game, within a week, or week to week as it goes.
What's the biggest thing you guys miss offensively when Zay's not in there?
I think Zay just has such a versatility to his game that we kind of mix and match it with multiple people. So to get the speed element that Zay has, Ag plays a role in that, or we move Christian and Calvin around to do that. To get the physical blocking aspect, Tim, Elijah, maybe a little bit more 12 personnel do some of the things that Zay can do because Zay is so versatile for us. He has the vertical threat with the speed. He's got length that we don't necessarily have in the receiver room. The combination of length, speed, blocking ability without him, we can piece it together with a couple other people. And then he's got experience, which, some of those other guys in the back end don't necessarily have. So as the game changes, as the picture changes within a down, you kind of know what Zay's going to do because Zay's seen it a million times. Zay and Trevor have that chemistry, that communication that they go through where you're kind of piecing people to do a job that one person did. But again, Zay's a huge part of our offense. So certainly that's somebody we miss. But I think we've done a decent job of intermixing people into the game and finding different ways or different roles to use those people.
It's probably a bigger loss than a lot of people realized when he wasn't there because of all the things you have to do to compensate.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime we're losing starters, great players, then you're certainly having to piece things together to play a little differently as you do it. But, we're excited when Zay does get back of what he can bring to our offense.
How close is this offense to being where you want it to be?
I don't know that we'll ever get there. I mean, that's kind of what we're chasing is perfection. We want every single play call to be against the defense we envisioned it being against, that we practiced it against, that the right guy gets his depth, wins the route, we throw at the perfect spot. So that's kind of the part of this that makes it fun is you're always chasing that. Ultimately, we want to be consistently efficient and explosive, and we haven't consistently done that. There's times, there's spurts, there's drives, there's plays within drives that were consistent. There's plays where we're explosive, but we have not done that on a consistent basis. So as an offense, that's what we're chasing all the time.
Have you ever played a game where you've been perfect? At
No.
any level? Never?
No.
Close?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. There's just enough drives here and there, but that's kind of, it's like going to play golf, and I shoot 95 most times, but I parred 18, and I want to keep coming back. So it's just kind of that no matter how bad you play, you end up finding a way to win, and I want to come back and do it the next week. I'm eager to get started again. So that's kind of what you're always chasing. So,
Thanks, Coach.
yep.
Perfect. Appreciate it, Press. He kind of set you up with that TJ one because I was confused.
First question got to be about the Aces.
How do you feel? How do you feel about the Aces winning back to back?
To me, it was expected one because my niece does a great job. She's the president out there. She's been there 2 years, and it's been back-to-back championships. And then my daughter, she got her first ring. Well, she'll get her first ring, so it's a family affair. And, I'm as proud as can be. 2 years. There you go, 2 rings. She's trying to. The word is the second ring will rival the ring I have. And so, that's pretty good.
So now you got to get another one to beat that.
That's the whole thing. She's one up on me, so we got to continue to, strive to be the top dog in the family. But it's always good.
This defense, your defense, seems to do a really good job at controlling the line of scrimmage. I know you come into the year every year wanting to do that, but how have you seen it sort of unfold, and what has sort of made it look so easy for you guys to do so far this season?
I think the guys that we play with and the style that we teach, Coach Buckner and Coach Shigaris, they do a great job of teaching our techniques. And the guys get in here and they work them, and it's paying off for them. They're trusting the technique, they're shooting their hands, they're staying in their gaps, and that enables the other guys to make plays. But at the end of the day, it's really the players that take the technique, execute the technique, and end up working well for us.
Is that something that Trayvon in particular is pretty good at? We might not see it on the stat sheet, but just in terms of being able to control the line of scrimmage, maybe take up some blockers, things like that, is that something he's good at?
That's the thing that really goes unnoticed. If you're an outside rusher, the only thing that you worry about is sacks. But we focus on stopping the run here, and he does a great job of handling tight ends, handling tackles, and squeezing off gaps, so it enables us to play the defense we want to play.
Yards per carry are down around the league. Have defenses shifted and started doing something or something different that you've noticed?
I really just focus on us. Haven't seen it, but we emphasize stopping the run. We want to, make offenses one-dimensional and take away the run game and make them throw the ball. So that's what our focus is, and we commit to doing that, and our guys have bought into it, so they're doing a good job of it.
Very few penalties for your unit. I mean, one defensive pass interference the whole season so far. Is that a consequence of coaching technique, or is it the maturity of the guys in the defense? What do you attribute that to?
Really, defensive penalties come with your eyes being in the wrong spot and your feet being in the wrong spot. And, Coach Talenton, he does a great job of making them understand that, see what you need to see before you look elsewhere. And our guys have done a good job of keeping their hands to themselves and, making plays on the ball. But it goes hand in hand. Sometimes you have big receivers, sometimes you have small, quick ones. If your eyes are in the right spot and you play the right technique, you should be able to keep your hands off of them.
What did you think about how Buster played last week, and does it give you any extra confidence if you need to lean on him again this week?
It really does. For him to be able to step up and make the plays that he made, it was huge. Just going back, he hasn't had the opportunity, but we saw the work in practice, and we understand that he has the talent, and he had a chance to showcase his ability, and he went out there and he did a great job. And we just know that going forward, he's going to continue to build on it. Hopefully he gains some confidence because he played a heck of a game.
Are Foye and Devin Lloyd, are they one of the better, I mean, you're biased, but are they one of the better linebacker groups in the league right now? Just how they're playing.
It's hard for me to really talk about a ranking of linebackers because you're right, I'm biased. But at the end of the day, those guys are starting to get a little recognition, which is good because Foye's been doing it a while and doing it at a high level. And you really don't hear about it. But being a former linebacker coach, I understand that what a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker looks like, and I watch it every week. And then Devin, his maturity from last year to continue to get better, the work he's put in of understanding the game and doing what he's capable of doing, it's really good to see those guys being able to put their stamp on this defense.
Since his injury, has Devin taken his play up to a big step?
It's funny. You can really look at it that way because he's getting his hands on. Well, he's getting one hand on the ball, but the other one and that'll come. But it's funny. I talked to him and I was like, when you're away, take this time to look at it as a coach. Step back. Don't look at it as you're lined up in front of a 300-pounder. Just look at the game from just a coach perspective, and I think that's helped him. And hopefully he continues to play well like he's doing.
Did you guys do anything special for him for that first touchdown of his career? Say anything or,
No, nothing special. He got a game ball, which he probably could get one every week, but he got a game ball, which is important. But his focus was, on the next week. That's a mindset, and that's what you want out of your leader. Last week's game is last week's game, and we're on to the next one. And that's what his mindset was, and we'll follow that.
You get Davon back in the lineup. Is it full go, or do you have to ease him back in, do you think?
I think he practiced this week, and he was doing a good job out at practice, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll let the training staff handle that, and, Coach Peterson will make that decision. But, he was out at practice, and he's continuing to work to get himself back ready to go.
What does he mean for you in terms of the pass rush, Devon? Being able to push. It seemed like last year at the end of the season he was doing that well.
He's another option. He's a guy that does it a different way. He's strong inside. He's able to push the pocket like you mentioned, and that enables our outside guys to rush more freely and rush a little higher because the quarterback won't be able to step up. And at the end of the day, he also has a skill to go from left to right and make a guard or a center miss and be able to push the pocket that way. So he gives you a little versatility, and we have, multiple guys down there, and all of them do it a different way. He'll adjust to his way of doing it and help us out.
Is it tough to know where the team's pass rush stands right now since you haven't been able to see the full picture? Devon's been sidelined. You just got Smoot back.
It's kind of hard, but at the end of the day, we play with who we have. And we have this next man up mentality, and the guys that have filled in for D-Ham when he's been gone, they've done a good job. And now that he's back, we'll continue to, work on pass rush. And it all goes together, Inside guy can have a great rush. Outside guy can come inside and quarterback escapes. Or quarterback steps up and there's no push. So they all work together, and we're working to rush the passer as one. So
What do you make of the Steelers offense, what do they sort of excel at?
Really, they look different when 18 came back. He was injured, now he's back. Him and 14 out there together, along the two backs and the quarterback. They're an offense that presents a bunch of problems. And they're big outside, and they have quickness outside with speed. So they're an offense that, we have to, account for a bunch of the guys. And it just, like every week in the NFL, it's going to be a tough task. We have to go out there and play our game and do our best to stop them.